Well, the holidays, they're over now, but a popular time for gift giving, and maybe you got a four-legged gift to your family, to add to your family, and you might be feeling a little overwhelmed right now, especially if it's your first pet. Well, we're joined by two experts, Richard and Vicki Horowitz, who are here to help guide you through some of the stress of owning new puppies. You guys, how old are these pups?
12 weeks.
12 weeks, and they're already this big. They are what, Tibetan Mastiffs?
That's correct.
Chewbacca and Cordelia?
Cordelia, yes.
My goodness, names that they'll grow into, definitely.
Brother and sister.
All right, so what can people expect? Like, you get your first dog, and I suppose it might vary a little bit depending on the breed, but what can people expect, especially if they're feeling overwhelmed?
Well, often when people bring their puppies home, the first thing that we hear about is housebreaking. What do I do about housebreaking my dog? And so what we tell our clients to do is that you want to have a specific schedule that you set up and that you take them out frequently. We also tell clients to be comfortable with having a crate in their house. Dogs like to den themselves, so you have a crate, you keep them in a smaller area, and you try to take them out frequently.
Dogs, that's for sleeping, though, right? Like just sort of like their own space,
for sleeping in their own space. They like to den themselves. It's a good place to get them comfortable in their crates, put their food in there. They don't tend to go to the bathroom where they sleep, so it's a good way of helping to start with the housebreaking of where they need to go, outside versus inside.
Okay. And what are maybe some surprise things that catches people off guard when they first have a new dog?
Generally, a lot of the initial issues are nipping. Okay. And puppies are like children; they teeth, they nip.
So at first it doesn't hurt so much. It's kind of fun,
but those puppy teeth are pretty sharp.
Yeah, and then they get used to being able to do it, so it's not a good idea to let them.
So we try to tell people not to allow them to do it. It's cute, but it becomes painful, especially as they get bigger, like these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, some people will use maybe a rolled up newspaper to sort of give it a little pat on the fanny or something like that. Is it okay to do that, or what do you do?
No. Well, we teach our owners to communicate in a way our dogs
understand. The dog is eating your clothes.
We teach our owners to correct their dogs in the way the dogs understand by using a tone of voice, a deep tone of voice like saying bad, to let them know that they're not listening to what you want them to do. But really what you need to do is put rules in right away with your dogs. They need to know that if you want them to play with you, that they're going to have to wait till you come and you get their attention. Are you teasing them?
Yes, he is.
Trying to get Cordelia to... She stopped eating my pants.
That's good. That's good, because she's not supposed to eat your pants.
Yeah, I guess.
But we teach our owners to communicate like dogs, because we communicate like little people. Our dogs don't understand what we want unless we communicate in a way they understand. So teaching them to communicate in a way they understand is an important thing, and putting some rules in place and letting them know that you are in charge as the leaders.
Developing leadership is really important, especially when you first get a puppy or a dog.
Does that have anything to do with also like not letting them sit up on certain furniture? Because they like if they want to be height.
Right. Dogs look at us as leaders because of our height, and they will often walk into a home, and the dog will be up on the couch, on the back of the couch, and the owners think that's wonderful. Well, it really isn't. They're gaining height because when you're sitting on the couch, and the dog is up higher, it's higher than you are, so they gain height. So height is very important.
So you don't want to let them get that sense that they're the alpha.
It also makes them become more protective of the house, because they're always watching and on guard, which you don't really want your dogs to be in that role.
Not necessarily that much.
Right.
Now, one final thing too. So dogs, of course, puppies are a lot like small children. They are boundless energy.
Right.
So how do you manage that and maybe tire them out?
Well, a lot of ways of tiring out our dogs, what we tend to do is encourage we tell our owners to play games with them. You know, if they're very food driven, you hide their food. You put their food in different places, you call it scatter feeding, and they have to go find it. Putting a tired dog is a happy dog. So mentally exercising them by doing obedience training, sit, come, stays, making them listen to you, making them do things is very important, as well as going for slow walks. We have a lot of clients who will say, oh, I walked the dog, took them for a nice long walk before they came, and people will say, but the dog is full of energy. Well, that's what happens with us if we go for a long walk. Yeah. But if you make them go for a slow walk where they have to constantly stop and think about what they're doing and focus, then it makes them more mentally tired. So when you mentally tire a dog, it's just as important as physically tiring a dog.
In puppies, you can only work with them for short periods of time, and then they lose interest.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So if you work with a puppy for 5 or 10 minutes, you know, on some obedience training, sit, come, stay, just getting them to learn their name.
Yeah.
Okay? And do that on leash so you can guide them to you, so they start to learn their name. Lots of praise. You know, give them a treat once in a while, but we use a lot of praise when we work with our dogs.
Positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement.
And when in doubt, people can hire people to help train like
That's
you guys.
right.
All right, thank you so much, Vicki and Richard. So glad you're with us. These are 2 dogs. We have some 3-dog nights coming up. That is a nice term for when it's really cold outside and you need 3 dogs to keep you warm.
Right.
Sam